Shalom. First and foremost, call Allah Yamla Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim HaKodash. That honors to our apostles at Great Millstone who were to touch His truth. Peace, love, blessings, salutations to you, Akim, that's part of the Bayasha Tawatara House of David, man. And to you few sincere sisters also that watch and support, Shalom to you also. So, just real quick, this was a vision or dream that I had Sunday morning around 3 o'clock in the morning. And just to say that, how it is, a wave of something is coming. All right, a wave of something. Now, in this specific dream, this specific vision, okay, it just, at first I was thinking one thing, and then I talked to a couple brothers about it, and the Spirit revealed why I had this specific dream. Now, the way that the dream went, okay, and this is how I know that something major is coming. Not just because of me, but just period. So basically, it was a real quick dream. It was real brief, real quick. Felt longer sleep when I woke up. Because I had went in and out, dozed in and off. You know what I'm saying? On and off for like 2-3 minutes, but the dream felt longer than that. So basically, just to make a long story short, so I got dropped, not from a plane, not from a aircraft or anything. I got dropped in a big ocean of water, and it's all spiritual because when I was dropping into the water, I was thinking like, man, this is Jacob's trouble, Leviathan, the Lord about to release Leviathan. And the reason why I was saying that in a dream is because as I was dropping, there's a big ass wave, man. Like, when I mean wave, I mean like, only Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai could create this magnitude of a wave. So drop the wave came, right? I'm in this big ocean of water, this big ass ocean, man. I don't know if it was the Atlantic, the Pacific, I don't know, all I know is a big ocean of water, man. And it was dark. It was like, it was that deep blue, dark blue water, man. But that's what the wave looked like at that. But so this first wave was big as hell, man. And I'm sitting and I'm in the water. I'm floating above it like I'm treading on water, and I'm looking at it. And I'm like, man, that shit is big as hell. It looks like it's about to cause some damage. So then that first one goes away. It crashes into the water. Boom. I'm in the water and shit just, it's shit, man. The whole ocean is moving, man. Well, I'm in it. Nothing's happening to me though. So then a second one comes, which is 20 times bigger than the first one. And I'm looking at this shit like, this one was dark as hell, man. Like I said, that deep blue, dark water, man. I'm looking at it and I'm like, God damn. Come on, man, drive. Fuck, man. Get in front of me for what? But I'm looking at it, and this is something that made the first one look like child's play. And this second wave, man, looked like this is something that only the Heavenly Father could create, man. I'm looking at this shit like, what the, I didn't get to see this one crash, but I mean to tell you, wasn't no surfer riding this wave. That's all I gotta say. Wasn't no riding it, and nah, man. You know, it's nah. You know what I'm saying? And when I woke up, you know, that was basically it. But when I woke up through the spirit, I was meditating on it. Because like I said, in the dream, you know, I was, you know, thinking, oh man, you know, the Lord's about to release Leviathan. But nah, man. I feel through the spirit, and like I said, I talked to a couple brothers about it, man. You know, them waves represent waves, you know, because when you think about it, when that pandemic, okay, happened, you had waves of things, and also in specific movies, okay, they call specific things waves. All right. Oh, this wave, this wave, this. So that first wave that wasn't bigger than the first one, you know, that was a wave of something. You know, a wave of some sort of type of chaos or whatever. Because like the scripture says, 2nd Esdras, I think it's the 7th chapter, is, you know, the key, you know, going to the kingdom of heaven is as water is on one side and fire is on the other. You know? And I was in deep water, and waves were coming, and you know that's how it's gonna be out here in Jacob's Trouble. You know, we're gonna be in deep waters, but you know the waves didn't overtake me. You know, but still, for the fact of the matter that, you know, that first wave was already big and hectic. This second wave, because I'm thinking about it prophecy wise. Right, you got the MOTB, okay? The Karagma, the Sihib is right around the corner. Also, because you have Elon Musk, all right, saying that he's gonna, this month, all right, November, okay? It's fucking Halloween today, but November, you know, there's talks of Elon Musk, you know, basically bringing out that Neuralink, okay? It's introducing it, but in a human form, the real version of transhumanism, man. You know. So, and then also too, we know that a lot of kids, all right, that are like elementary, whatever the case may be, they're starting to. I think it was about like, I want to say like 85 kids were out of school because of like flu-like symptoms or some shit like that. But ultimately, we know that things are going to get worse before they get better. Okay. So through the spirit, that last big wave can represent what's about to take place right now. It's going to be big. It's going to be big as hell, man. World earth shaking. Because remember, Revelation, the 3rd chapter, you know, the Lord said that He is going to keep us from temptation that is going to try everybody on the planet Earth. So, something big is coming. You know, something, we've been prophesying about it. The Lord's been giving brothers visions, dreams, you know, of things to come. And also, too, you know, you got to remember also, too, like the apostles bring up, specific dreams or visions that you might get. It might not be straight. It might not be straight to the. You know, it might not be like look. You know, I dreamt of being in deep water and waves. You know, big ass waves, man. You know, but the spirit will reveal and intervene. You know, symbolically what specific things mean. Just like the John the Revelator, specific things he probably seen through the spirit, you know, were probably that. You know, like the apostle said, you know, you probably seen an actual city coming down, but it was representation, man. You know? So that's how we gotta think too. So, hey man, something's coming, man. And like I said, waves, when you watch specific movies, waves represent a sort of type of thing to go through, like even in video games. You know, you start, first wave. You got to fight a whole slew of enemies or whatnot. And after you finish that wave, second wave comes. The second wave's a little harder, you know. So, hey man, we at this time, man. We at the time where the Lord, you know, that first wave happened, but the second wave is going to be even more massive, man. But with that, shalom.
Have to get out right now. We're getting reports from members in the military that are telling their family to get out of Europe before World War III breaks out on the ground around that region. So many countries are at danger of what is happening right now, and there are huge events taking place, including this massive claim by Russia today that said that the United Kingdom and potentially the United States of America had personal involvement in the releasing of chemicals and the destruction of the Nord Stream pipeline. They say that this was an act of sabotage that took away Europe's energy stability, and because of chemical weapons that were dumped into that region in decades past, as well as the environmental dangers that are present with the release of raw natural gas into the ocean, this is being called a state-governed act of terror that will have long-reaching implications. According to the Russian Defense Ministry just today, British Navy personnel are responsible for the destruction of the Nord Stream gas pipelines last month, directly accusing a leading NATO member and country of sabotaging critical Russian infrastructure. The Defense Ministry would not give any evidence for its claims beyond saying that its military had conducted an investigation into this explosion, and they saw that it was the UK that perpetrated it. It is said that, quote, British specialists from the same unit that was directing Ukrainian drone attacks on ships of the Russian Black Sea Fleet earlier today, this was another massive attack, that it had largely repelled Russian forces, was at hand in the Nord Stream blowup. According to available information, representatives of this unit of the British Navy took part in the planning, provision, and implementation of a terrorist attack in the Baltic Sea on September 26th of this year, blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines, the Ministry of Russia is quoted as warning. Now, this is a huge claim. When you have this sort of overt, in the open claim of chemical weapon sabotage or chemical environmental sabotage, you just have the leading on to the next stage of this crisis. Russia's deputy foreign minister says that we are following the United States of America and all of the West's nuclear strategies, especially those of Washington. We are concerned about the increase in the number of nuclear scenarios at play right now. The Russian ambassador to the United States of America, Anatoly Antonov, on Friday, just yesterday, urged the United States to return to American soil all nuclear weapons that are being deployed by the USA abroad at this moment in time. That's a massive warning to say that you need to take back all of your weapons. And no matter what your allegiance is, no matter what your NATO agreements are, you need to remove your nuclear weapons from these countries and take them back to your soil, or else your quoted territorial integrity and sovereignty of the United States of America is not what is being fought for. And Russia and China are seeing these acts of overreaching global aggression. The Russian ambassador and the foreign minister of Russia says that we are taking necessary measures to ensure defenses against the NATO's reinforcement of the nuclear components in its military plans. Russia is claiming that the British Navy is further making moves right now to attack Russian signatures in the region. Russia has announced that it will resume its naval blockade in the Black Sea after today's Ukrainian strikes against the Black Sea Fleet. Russia is back to what they say use famine against the world in this war. The RIA says that a U.S. reconnaissance drone has flown near the Crimean region, and this is a direct breach of the United States of America's agreement not to involve itself directly in this war against Russia. The Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the United States of seeking global domination by fueling the conflict in Ukraine. And the army has accused the UK of helping Ukraine plan a drone attack on ships that is still said to be ongoing. Russia has warned the United States that it is currently considering America's so-called modernization of U.S. atomic bombs being expedited Europe as a strategic threat to Russia's continuity of government, its security, its sovereignty, and its territorial integrity, according to a message that was conveyed to the Western world by leaders in the Russian foreign ministry. The following is from the ministry itself. We, Russia they're talking about, cannot but notice plans to modernize nuclear weapons, those free fall bombs that are in Europe. The United States is modernizing them, increasing their accuracy and reducing the power of a nuclear charge. That is, they are turning these weapons into a battlefield weapon, thereby reducing the nuclear threshold. The United States, they say, is forcing its allies to purchase F-35 aircraft and is taking other measures to increase the ability of the alliance countries to overcome access blocking zones. This, they say, is also a reality that we must take into account, both in the political sense and in Russia's military planning. He added that in addition to this, NATO itself has already made decisions, grave decisions they call them, to strengthen the nuclear components of the military alliance, making it more visible, increasing the number of nuclear exercise events, and involving the United States in strategic aviation in these exercises, which have flown into and around Russian borders. Reports now show that Russia has motioned to file an investigative complaint with the United Nations Security Council. This demands that the world sees an internal investigation into what Russia calls or describes as the USA's military biological activities in Europe. This was breaking news within the last 24 hours by the Russian Foreign Ministry. The Russian Federation was left with no choice but to file a complaint, they say, this is a quote, with the chairman of the UN Security Council to launch an international investigation into the military biological activities of the USA in Ukraine. The ministry says that during the special military operation, which they're still calling the war against Ukraine a special military operation, they say that evidence and material shed light on the true nature of the U.S. military biological activities. They say that Russia is in possession of this evidence at this time. Russia filed this complaint with a draft resolution, compiled a 310-page document that was seen by AFP. U.S. ambassadors to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, quickly refuted these claims. This is her quote. "We all know these claims are pure fabrications, brought forth without a shred of evidence," she says. "Still, I must take this opportunity to set the record straight. Ukraine does not have a biological weapons program." She added, "The United States does not have a biological weapons program." So we have a little bit of verbiage here, differences, and in discussion of what actually is a program of this sort. Well, if you call something a research institute, it no longer is a weapons program, right? The fact of the matter is that we do not know, and we likely will never know, what dirty money governments around the world on all sides, communists, from capitalist countries, you have America, you have China, you have Vietnam, you have all these things happening with Russia. You won't know exactly what that dirty money goes to fund. But we do know that corruption exists everywhere, and it seems that mankind wants to annihilate itself at every turn. Reports show that Russia is continuing to move into Europe. Thousands of protesters have filled a central square in the Czech region, calling for the government to resign its support for Ukraine. They say that a cost of living crisis is hurting the people. 210 million citizens are now in lockdown in China. They have been plunged back into lockdown after almost 3 years later than the first case of COVID. 800,000 people in fresh quarantines is affecting these 200 million people from moving. A concerning warning to the general population is coming to the world from Germany, who has warned its citizens to get ready for hard months, maybe even hard years to come.